Welcome to Rodis Live. I'm your host, Rodis. Today we have another guest to kick off the new year of 2023. Please introduce yourself to the listeners of Rodis Live.
I'm Felice Schlesinger.
Okay. Is that German?
Yeah, Schlesinger is probably German. It's not my maiden name, but it's my ex-husband's last name I still have.
Okay. Hey, it's a good name either way. So
Right?
tell the people a little bit about yourself.
So I started radio. Well, actually, let me go back before that. I started becoming a manager of an artist by the name of Amio back around like 2016, 2015, something around that, maybe about 2015. And so he was a guy that I knew from a center that I used to go to, that I still go to, that he used to go to, I should say. And he was like, I'm an artist and I really need a manager. And I'm like, I don't know anything about managing. What are you talking about? He's like, no, I really need you to help me, blah, blah. He's like, could you do this? And he's like, can you help me book shows? Can you help me do and all these, he's running down all these things. And I was like, I could do that. I could do that. So the next thing you know, I became a manager of a rapper. So that's kind of how it started. And from there, we were at a Illinois Radio's 1 year's anniversary party. And a guy that Amio did an interview with, by the name of Corey Ether, he was there. And so we ran into him again. We're talking to him, and he's like, listen, you need to do radio. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you need to do radio. I'm like, I don't know anything about radio. He's like, no, you need to come, you need to do radio. And I'm like, I know nothing. So I thought about it over the weekend and stuff. And I talked to my friend, DJ MH Chutta, and he was like at like 3 a.m. or something. I called him. I'm like, this guy thinks I could do radio. He's like, girl, you could do comedy. What are you talking about? So I wound up doing it. I wound up getting a co-host. I asked her if she would do it with me. She's like, absolutely. If I could be the next Wendy Williams, I'm in. And so Determined Radio took off in 2018 on FM on 88.9 FM in Lisle, Illinois.
Okay. I like Lisle. I actually did a couple of shows down in Lisle, Illinois.
Okay. So yes.
5 years, but shout out to Lisle. They support hip hop. So is your station a BDS station or no?
No. So what happened was that we left. What happened was that the Lisle station wound up closing because the owner moved and another station was going to buy it out. Didn't work out. So by that point, I was already starting to host the orchestration radio show in Ejila Beats' recording studio. And it's on the Spreaker app and it's monetized to like iHeartRadio and iTunes and Spotify and all those different things. And so I wound up bringing Determined Radio to his studio 2 years ago, 2 years into Determined Radio. Now I'm starting this new show 2 years later. So now I'm 4 years into Determined Radio, 2 years into the orchestration radio. So we just wound up bringing it over there due to the station closing. So we're both stations. We're all on the Spreaker app. And like I said, it's monetized and all of that. So
yeah. I like speaking because people can listen live and they can actually comment and talk and it's interactive.
And, they can.
And you could grow your following more,
Right. And it's monetized, which is great. You know what I mean? We also go live on our radio Facebook pages for the interviews as well. So we don't have it on ourselves. We have it on the actual guests. So that way they can have that, chop it up however they want to do that. Because, it's good to go live because half the time their phones are dead and, all that. So we go live for them and they can have it. We keep it, of course. So, yeah, we don't have a YouTube channel yet. We're getting there. We're going to get there. I keep talking about it. But
so work in progress. So
it is.
What was some of the challenges that you faced as a new manager, and how did you overcome them?
Back then, and I'm right now. He's on hold right now because he's doing some other stuff. So I'm not managing Amio right now. But as far as like right now, I'm managing Ejila Beats, who is a engineer. He's a producer. He's a DJ. He's an artist. He's a writer, and that's his studio. We work out of the West Side. And then I also manage Love Child, who switched his name from Willie Neal to Love Child. He is also the nephew of Danny Boy on top of that. So I manage that situation as well. He is an R&B singer. He's amazing. So as far as the challenges go, I don't really have any challenges. They just do what I say. It works out so much easier that way.
Okay. So, with managing, it's a lot of requests. It's a lot of, how do you distinguish what's a priority and what's, okay, we'll get to it a little bit later, even though priorities are important, but it's not one thing over another, you know? So how do
Yeah.
you distinguish, I got to get on this right now as opposed to something else?
It just depends on what's going on. Like right now, they're both working on music, so I'm not doing anything right now. They're sitting there waiting on albums and things that are going to drop and stuff like that, and then it'll go, of course, into marketing and all that stuff. So I'm not really doing it as far as anything right this second. I always make sure I get their music out around because the point is global, right? So a lot of times these artists are so involved in trying to get it on the Chicago radio. I was like, why are you guys so worried about that? I get it. You want to get in your car and you want to like video your song being on the thing, but the point is global. So you had to start contacting DJs and start, go on Instagram, go look for emails for DJs around the world and start sending your music out. So I do that every day. I do that every day.
I always say, Felice, like the world is bigger than a block.
Exactly. Like I'm not understanding why these people don't aren't. I'd rather have it out globally. Like it's cool to be like, oh, you're gonna be playing in Miami and on Saturday. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather be saying stuff like that than being like, okay, you're on Chicago. I mean, no, no, nothing against Chicago. Of course, I'm from Chicago, but yeah, I mean that's not the point. The point is to get your music globally, and then you figure out from that point where the most amount of fans are, and then you go there and you do shows there. You know what I'm saying? You can still do shows here, of course, but
Exactly.
make it
Exactly.
make
I'm a big analytics person, not to the point where I'm just fingering through them. Wherever my streams are, wherever my plays are, since you only get paid, an album sale for 1,500 streams, you might as well, flip it and get in front of your audience and turn those streams to dollars.
Yep, definitely.
So, like, far as itinerary, right? What does your itinerary look like for a week of determined radio for you?
What does it look like for a week? Well, basically, I'm basically looking for guests to come on our show for both shows. So I have two. So the orchestration radio show is Tuesday nights from 8 to 10, and
And
determined
what
radio
does
is
what does the orchestration radio show consist of?
it's basically the same type of show. I'm still interviewing guests, artists, entrepreneurs, brands, authors. Doesn't always have to be an artist, but 9 times out of 10, that's what's going to happen. And so on that show, the way I switched up that show a little bit is that I have a different co-host sitting next to me. Every single show I switch co-host just because
Oh,
it makes it more fun for me and I'm not as bored. You know what I mean? So it's more about
right.
me at that point. But it also makes networking with whoever is going to come and get interviewed. They might meet somebody from Power 92. They might meet somebody from My Radio Chicago. They may meet another artist that lives down the street that I was like, hey, you want to come interview? Want to come co-host? Yes. Okay, great. I love having an artist to artist because I get more out of that interview. I feel like because they like to discuss a lot of stuff, how they work and how they operate. So that's more fun to me almost than a radio personality. Shout out to them, of course. But do you know what I'm saying? It makes the networking. And then they're like, let me see your Instagram. What's your Instagram? Like get some unity in Chicago because there's none. So I kind of switched that up. So that's Tuesdays. I switched it up. And I love that. And then Wednesday is Stacy, of course, of 4 years, my co-host of 4 years. So, and we're like Lucy and Ethel, like it's retarded. Like we're retarded. We're
Okay.
definitely like we just like they're like those two girls are crazy. We are. And we feed off each other really well. And now, of course, 4 years in, we're really
Y'all have great chemistry.
amazing chemistry. And people say that all the time. They're like, you guys need to do a comedy act. I'm like, if one more person says that. So yeah, we definitely do have fun. So yeah, as far as like that. So getting ready for those shows, I'm basically just I'll say to anybody need an interview on Tuesday or Wednesday. I usually don't even have to do that much that often because people are just emailing or they're DMing. They're like, can I get on your show? Can I get on your show? And so I wind up sending them a thing, the details of our show. And then if they want to do it, I send them an email confirmation back. And we also make them perform during their interview. At the end of their interview, they're going to actually perform their last song. They give us 2 songs. We play one during their interview. And at the very end of their interview, after they shout out their social media, we'll have them actually stand up with a microphone and they're actually performing their song. They love that. We have a smoke thing that's pouring out and smoke and stuff. They love it. They're happy.
What a way to
that's basically how that all goes.
What a way to showcase an artist live and a live performance.
I think
the
you're
best
frozen,
of both
or
worlds.
I'm frozen. You're not frozen. Okay.
The best of both worlds, a live performance and a live interview.
Well, yeah, it's super fun. They love it. It's super fun. It's super fun. And of course, then we post all their stuff on our social media. During the week, I'm blasting their stuff, their flyer. I'm blasting any kind of new music or videos that's going in our Instagram story every single day for that whole week up until their actual interview. And then I just tell them, I'm like, you have new music coming out next week. Just keep sending us new music. It'll just keep going into our computer.
Right.
So yeah.
So are you open to any sponsors for the radio?
We are always looking for sponsors. Sponsors kind of come and go. We had a clothing brand. And then we'll actually, if anybody wants to be a sponsor, we'll actually make an MP3 and we will actually air the MP3 commercial during our show as well. So we do that. We've had all kinds of stuff.
For the people out there, Determined Radio, Felice's show, she's looking for sponsors.
Always. And it's super fun for them too.
Yeah, and then it broadens the reach and you could just say, hey, Felice sent you,
Exactly.
A lot of times in Chicago, it's not a lot of reciprocity, but I think most of all of the turmoil and beef is because of lack of knowledge,
Yeah.
But it's definitely not necessary, and it's a lot of talent here in Chicago. So shout out to all the artists. I wanted to talk to you about the 312 Awards. Will you be attending?
Clearly, I'm attending. I am grateful that I've been nominated. Determined Radio has been nominated. I have been nominated as Radio Personality of the Year, and Determined Radio under the indie radio shows. So I'm definitely grateful. Those lists are crazy, and it's so cool because I saw my name on as far as the radio personalities, and I'm like, there's some big people on there from Leon Rogers to Shondell to Shad Liz. Of course I know them all, but this is to see my name with those people was okay, I'm good right now. I don't even have to win. Just to have my name there is cool.
It's great company. Great company.
Yeah, it was definitely an honor just to see my name, like I said, with all those people.
Right. That's true. So yeah. I wanted to know, is there any type of promotion packages that you have on Determined Radio as far as campaigns, as far as radio play, campaigns, interviews, whatever? How could somebody get in touch with you if they wanted to inquire about it?
It's super easy. All they have to do is DM Determined Radio on Facebook or Instagram. That's it. That easy. And we are really good.
Okay. On Facebook, on Instagram. Okay, that's cool.
Radio. That's it.
Simple. Everybody, if you need to promote, if you need a radio campaign, if you're trying to promote and actually do the work, instead of complaining about it, instead of talking about it, we got somebody that's all about it right here. Instagram, Facebook, Determined Radio.
Yep.
What else?
And watch our Instagram stories because I also do shows around Chicago with Eddie August from BMW Entertainment. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Eddie. And we do shows. We haven't done a show for a minute, but we've headlined from Beads to Sasha Go Hard to Easy O'Hare to El Hida again to his brother King Young, and we've definitely headlined a lot of people. So we're not doing, like I said, I'm not doing a show right this second, but just if when I do that flyer, and I'm always looking for artists that want to come do those shows, that flyer's always in Determined Radio's story every single day.
Right. So pay attention to the stories, pay
Yeah.
attention to the Instagram, and pay
Yep.
attention to the Facebook.
Yes, sir.
And if you really want to do some business, just hit up the DM
Exactly.
sensibly.
Exactly. We're really good at answering back. Like we do not slack. We're there.
I agree 100%.
Yeah,
You're
we're there.
professional, you're on
Yep.
time, you're articulate, you know your business.
Yep.
So I wanted to ask you this. What is your take on the digital age versus the physical age of music? The pros and cons.
Well, the pros and cons, let's see. So I would say, like, as far as like you're talking about, like, back in the day when the artists were actually out there, like, having their discs and getting in, people's
Yeah,
faces on the corners,
yeah,
$20 to buy my music
yeah,
versus I'm now on the internet and it takes 2 seconds. Yeah, we're gonna go with the 2 seconds over here. I think it's a lot easier now, and it's kind of funny, like the OGs of music are like still trying to like catch up to how this works, because they're out there. Like I talked to like Cold Heart from Crucial Conflict and just like other people, and they're just like, I gotta do what now? Like, you know what I mean? Like catch up to the internet. Come on. But I also feel like as far as that goes, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's definitely a lot easier as far as the internet goes, but then you're also not collecting correct fans, if that makes sense. You're collecting internet fans. You're not collecting physical fans to come support you like at a show, if that makes sense.
right.
It
But
goes both.
right, if you put out a good product, you could get a lot of replay value via stream.
Right.
And you
You don't
could
even
get,
have to go out.
huh? Right. You could be everywhere at one time. But the hustling aspect and doing the work, you can be everywhere at one time.
Right.
That's the benefit. I actually still get physical merchandise myself, but I know that as far as the marketing and the promoting, that's all internet based, SEO, press release. I use some of the tactics from back in the day. I still implement them in my promotion process. You know?
Yep. You have to. Yep. You have to. You have to. For sure. For sure. But yeah, as far as that, I think that you get a lot more fans as far as back in the day. They were getting more fans to come to their shows as far as like that goes because they're physically talking to them. Do you know what I'm saying? Versus the internet. But then you have the internet, which you're getting out more product that way. So it's like, I mean, I'm sure the internet's definitely better, like you don't even need labels anymore. Like, what do you need a label for? Like, you could do it yourself on the internet. So they're coming a little, you know,
Exactly. Exactly.
the smaller labels. I'm not talking about big labels. I'm talking about the smaller, the smaller labels aren't really needed, because unless you need them because you don't know how to do any of that stuff, okay. But as far as like I've seen labels just shut down because nobody needs
Exactly.
the small ones. The small
Right.
ones.
Right. I agree with that 100%. Unless you got some type of print and press deal with a label. Like
Yeah.
if other than
Yeah.
that, I don't see the need except for probably the reach. But if you do the work, you'll reach the people that you need to reach.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree. I agree.
I believe in planning. Planning is the key to everything.
Definitely. Definitely.
Planning
And
ahead.
everybody has their own, like I'll ask artists, like, how do you market yourself? Like everybody has a different timing schedule on how they market themselves, and everybody, whatever works for that person, you know what I mean? But it's kind of cool to listen to different ways that people are saying that they wait till this certain date and then they post this and then they do this and then they do that. And it's like this person's like, no, I don't do it like that. I do ads. Like, it's just funny to like listen to how people market themselves. You know, I don't have to worry about that part, you know, as far as like we do some of that stuff, but like just to listen to different artists talking about their different strategies is kind of fun to listen to.
Right. You could take the good and throw away the bad, and then you could say, "Hey, I like that tie over there. Let me get one." You know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, Chicago does have a lot of talent. I love Chicago. I'm from Chicago as well. Um, it's a lot of good projects that came out in 2022. A lot of good projects. My thing is like with the 312 awards, I appreciate what they're doing, you know, for the city. But one thing that I would like to say to all the artists is that, you know, you don't have to be nominated to be a winner. You're already a winner. Everybody a winner. If you woke up this morning, you're a winner. If you got a dream, you're a winner. If you
Right.
working
Your eyes
towards your
open.
dream, you're a winner.
Yeah.
Just by having you on my platform, I'm a winner.
Aw. Just for you having you me do this, I'm a winner.
All right.
So
Winner.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So fun. So
Yeah.
fun.
So if you could tell a new artist, if you could give them some advice, what would it be?
Learn the business first. Don't drop any music until you learn the business. There's 13 to 16 royalties per song. Learn how to make all of your money before you drop a song, before you start they're putting all their money into the studio, they're putting the money into the clothes, they're putting the money into the video, they're putting money all of these places, but they're not getting any money back because they have zero idea how to get their money back. So 95% of people on YouTube, 95. It was 90 last year. Now it's 95% of people on YouTube do not collect the royalties. So to the artists that are new, don't drop any music at all. Go learn how to make all of your money, learn the business of music, and then go drop a song. And when you could drop that song and collect the 13 to 16 royalties versus the probably 3 or 4 that you only know. So that would be my biggest advice. Go learn music. I tell people go learn business all the time. Don't I get it and you're excited about all of that. And if you don't want to learn the business, then have your mom or somebody really close to you that wasn't going to screw you over. Let them learn it and tell you or however you want to do it. But don't drop music until you know how to collect all of that money.
I try to tell everybody, like back in the day, we used to say squad up. I try to tell everybody they need to nerd up,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
because you have
Yep.
money in other territories and everything just sitting there.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
what are some of those other royalties that the artist may not know?
I can't tell. I'm not telling. I'm not giving away no secrets. But just so you guys know, but if you do want to know all of that, and we do have the entire book that we send it via email. We charge $50 for it. And I let the artists that come into the studio that don't know stuff, we actually have a physical book that they can look through. And if they
That's
like what
awesome.
they know that we're not full of shit, you know what I mean? So that way they can see and they'll like sit there at the table and look through this book. They're like, yeah, I need to learn all this. I'm like, okay, it's $50. And then we send it to their email. But I like them that they can physically look at something and I'm not just, you know, so I don't think we're full of shit. And so I'm giving nothing away. So I'm giving nothing away. That's another thing you could DM me if you're interested in learning all of that. I have that. Like I said, it's a flat rate. And so we will send you that via email. And if you want to come into the studio to see the actual book, come on. But yeah, I'm not
Exactly.
giving away nothing.
Like
Nothing.
when I started my indie label, I you know, I hired a lawyer, you know, for consultant. I got my EIN, I got my articles of incorporation, I got my business account, I got my PO box, and then I talked to various people, but it's this book that I got called Making It in the Music Business. I read every page of the book from contracts to royalties. the internet was just getting like starting to boom, but I had digital distribution back then. And like all of the work that I was doing, I thought that, was going in vain. In all actuality, it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
because I was
Mm-hmm.
just doing the leg work. But I'm glad that I read that book. But it's so many royalties to collect. I'm not telling either.
So many.
Huh?
I'll be like, oh yeah, I know it all. I'm like, really? How many royalties? They're like 3 or 4. I'm like, try like 13 to 16. They're like, their mouths are open. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, this is how much money you're missing that you could be making that you need to learn. So yeah, they're like, don't drop any more music until you learn this. So, and then that's when I said, then I'll show them that book and then they could decide if they want to spend the $50 and learn it or not. There's some people that just don't want to learn it. They don't care. They're like hip hop hobbyists. They're not really like it's a hobby versus it's serious craft versus a hobby craft. You know what I mean? So, okay, fine. If
Right,
you want to waste your time, go ahead. That's your problem. But if you really want to learn it, then okay, learn it.
right. I know ASCAP is good. ASCAP is good about getting me my money. The hardest royalty to get is the mechanical royalty, though. That's the most difficult one
Mm-hmm.
to track down out of all the royalties. The
Yeah,
mechanical royalty. But it's old to you. I,
yeah.
I agree. You should definitely learn a business before you decide to put out a single, a album, a EP,
Anything.
all
Yes,
of
a
that.
video,
Like
anything.
like if you're a ASCAP or a BMI member, like people they're not familiar with the on stage royalty because these venues they pay a licensing fee for you performing your works there.
That's a royalty. Putting
That's a
your
royalty.
on Facebook is a royalty. You put your song on Facebook as a royalty. Like there's so much stuff that people don't really realize, and they're missing so much money. And you're gonna go spend so much money in the studio with a producer, with the buying a beat, doing the song, getting clothes for your show, a video, like all of this money. You should learn how to get it all back,
Yeah,
and that's
because you could write it. You could write off all these expenses,
yeah.
a lot of
And you
them.
can get back royalties too. Like once you do learn it and you do have music that's out, we have it so you can know how to get some of your, you won't get all of them, but you'll get some of your back royalties back. So there's that too. But still, at the end of the day, don't even drop a song until you know it all. That's how I look at it.
Exactly,
Don't do
exactly.
that.
What is your thoughts on perception? Everybody, to me, a lot of people like to follow the smoke. You understand what I'm saying? Everything that you see is not what it is.
Definitely.
So that's the best advice that I could give for going into
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah.
Nerd up on your business.
Nerd
Don't
up. That's
nerd
awesome.
up. That's it.
Nerd up.
Nerd up.
It's true though. It's true though. It's true. We were just talking about labels. And I was talking to one of the artists and he was like, yeah, I was in a really bad contract. But then at the end of the day, I realized there's really no such thing as a bad contract. The bad contract was because I didn't read it. I didn't have a lawyer read it. I didn't negotiate it. And I got stuck in a bad contract. So at the end of the day, whose fault is it? My own. I'm like, right. So that's true too. Like, read everything as far as even contracts, there's no such thing as a bad contract. You made it a bad contract because you didn't read it.
My thing is like instead of getting a lawyer when you're in trouble, get a lawyer to keep yourself from being in trouble, to keep the
Right.
trouble from happening.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yep.
like a good manager as yourself can get you those royalties for those who listening, or a good attorney.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. Or yourself at the end of the day, yourself.
right? That's that's if you educate yourself
Yeah. The artist should know more than the manager. The
because
artist should know the
the
manager.
I agree, because if you don't have nothing to manage, what is the manager gonna do?
Right. Somebody in my DM every day, Felice, will you manage me? No. Do you know how to make money off your music? No. Then what am I doing? I'm babysitting? No, thank you. I'm good. I don't need to babysit.
Exactly.
No, you need to go learn the business. And when you learn the business, then come back and ask me again.
There's so many ways to make money, especially in
Yeah.
this climate, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
But
Definitely.
don't be lazy. That's all I can say. If you
Because
lazy,
you can actually wind up being screwed at the end of the day too. If you don't have your paperwork done, I know I'm not going to say who or any of that stuff, but you can actually go onto YouTube. There's a code on your video that you could tell if your paperwork is done or not, and I can steal your royalties. I don't want your song, but it's a whole hustle. I can go in there
exactly.
and take
Exactly. But you know what? I always go through the
a whole
distributor.
hustle.
Always go through the distributor, because
Yep.
they won't take your stuff unless it's what it is. The
Right.
distributor that I use, you know?
Right. Right. There's a
Everything,
way to tell.
you got
Yeah. There's a way to tell.
cross the I's, dot the T's.
Yep.
Here.
Yep.
Now, if it says, oh, now I will upload the video myself, or I'll go through somebody like Vimeo. If I upload it through Vimeo, I know it'll be distributed all over. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? They get
Yeah.
it in every territory. So
Yeah.
that help your streams for for the actual song as well as the video. So
Right.
you're gonna get paid for it being played, and you're gonna get paid for it being seen. That's
Yep.
that's money.
Yep. Yep. Most of them don't know that though. That's why 95% of YouTube still has their money. Nobody collects their money. It's crazy. Not just YouTube. I'm like crazy. That's
I I,
crazy.
I really don't want to throw anybody under the bus on my on my platform, but it's YouTube and a little bit of everybody else too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I don't want to. YouTube is a good vessel, so I don't want to be a deterrent from anybody. But if you want to have something from people, put it in a book.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
So it's tell the people what you got coming up. Tell the people what you got coming up for your artists, if you could speak on it. And last but not least, where artists can reach you for consultations and to get their music played.
So as of right now, we're just in radio right now. So we are back on radio for 2023, starting tomorrow. Actually, well, we're kick off from radio tomorrow. We just celebrated our 4-year anniversary. So we are on air tomorrow from 8 to 10, Determined Radio, Facebook, Instagram, and the Spreaker app is also Determined Radio. Everything is Determined Radio as far as that part goes. As far as coming up anything right now, I don't have any shows or anything coming up right now. My artists don't have any shows coming up right now. They're writing, making music right now. So we're just on, just hang on. The Orchestration Radio Show, you can catch me there too. That's the Orchestration Radio Station on Instagram and the Orchestration Radio on Facebook. I know it's a lot of words, I know. The best way to get me is either that way on the Orchestration, or the easiest way to get me is Determined Radio Facebook, Determined Radio Instagram. It's that easy.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on Riders Live, and you're more than welcome to come back in the future. I love chopping it up with you on my show, but I like chopping it up with you in private, because you always turn my light bulb on, and I turn your light bulb on too.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
You're welcome. So this has been another episode of Riders Live, Determined Radio. Riders Live. We out. Peace.